Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Julie Foucht. Julie is here to talk about how she found her independence, healed from divorce, attracted her current husband, and completely upgraded her life to meet the standards of her highest self. Julie is a believer in trusting your feminine wisdom and is a leader in the industry, all while being an amazing mother to 4 children. I appreciate Julie visiting us here with the Her Version community to share her journey with us. Welcome, Julie. What would you say, kind of looking back throughout your journey and the challenges? We all go through a multitude of challenges throughout our life, some a little more heavier than others, but is there any, like, a step by step that you've kind of found yourself doing kind of continuously throughout those in order to kind of pull yourself from like the darkness of the challenge and then into a more positive light? Is there any nuggets of information that you could give us?
Yeah. And the way that I look at that is it's like a funnel. So the first time around, it's like, oh, this is really dark. This is heavy. This is painful. Oh, this hurts. And you figure out a solution. And then it comes up again and you're like, okay, I think I know. I think I can figure this out. Okay, yes. And so every time you do it, it gets narrower and narrower and shorter time.
Yes.
So for me, there's a couple of steps. Yeah, because you learn and it becomes automatic.
Okay.
So the first thing is to recognize, what are the thoughts going in through my head? Like, there is pain being caused. Okay, if I am in pain, then one of my values is being stomped on. Okay. And that's creating pain. Or there's two things. Either a value is being stomped on, or I want somebody to be different than who they are. Right? Yeah. The work of Byron Katie is pain comes from wanting to people to be someone they're not. So if I have to recognize where I'm at. Is it my values are getting stepped on? Is that I want somebody to be different than who they are? And can I, first of all, physically remove myself from the situation? Like finally leaving the marriage. So can I remove myself from this situation? And then I go and I connect in with source, God, the universe. I do the work of connecting in. For me, I then allow source energy to flow through me, clearing away, removing and releasing any energy that doesn't serve my highest and best good. And as that energy flows through me, sometimes people will come up or things will come up. And I allow it just to wash over me. Connecting again with Mama Earth, which is big for me, to connect with Mama Earth. And just sometimes I have to then go give my little girl, we talked about this, the little inner child that we all have.
Yeah.
She needs some extra love. She needs to know this didn't happen because of her.
Yes.
And that will clear me to know what the next steps are. All of those things clear so I know what the next right step is, so that I can make a choice that's in my highest and best good. Because often we are wounded and we lash out.
Yeah.
And often we're lashing out from a hurt little inner child. So what happens is I get in a fight with my husband. His 5-year-old is yelling at my 4-year-old. There's no adults present in the room at all.
Yeah.
And we all end up hurt and angry, right?
Yeah.
If I'm able to take my 4-year-old and protect her and say, wow, he's in his little boy, I'm going to remove myself from this situation.
Okay.
Then we don't have to have a big blow up.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I can protect my feelings and I can protect myself and I can go and do what I need to do to create results I want, including a
Wow.
better relationship. And I say that as if I do it perfectly every time, which I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that.
But that's the practice. And then it's a choice. Sometimes this is, of course, real life. So the biggest place things happen are blow-ups with my husband, which don't happen that often, but every now and then.
Yeah.
And I'll just make a choice. And once I've gone through that process, I'll say, okay, what do I want?
Yeah.
Do I want to be mad for the next 3 days? Or do I want to have a good evening? And it's so hard because, as humans, we want to go, no, he has to make amends. Right? He has to make this better. He caused this problem. But the reality is we can make it better for ourselves. I'm just not going to hold on to it. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
and it's a choice and you have to hold to it. And your little girl that wants revenge, you have to take care of that part of yourself so that you can make that choice.
How long has you and your husband been together?
We have been together 15, 16, 17 years now.
Nice.
So the first marriage, this is really dating me. First marriage was 20 years.
Okay.
Then it was 5 years until I met my current husband. And we've been together 17 years.
Was there any learning curve as far as the way that because obviously when you do the work, it's difficult if individuals haven't also done the work. Did you have to teach him anything or did he come in already having educated himself a little?
I think he had done a lot of work himself.
Okay, great.
But he didn't do it in the same language that I use.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right. So, I use the real woo-woo. I tap into source. He'll tell me he meditates when he swims, right? And he'll go swim 2 miles. And so, or however long he swims, I don't know. It's a pool thing. So I think he did a lot of the work to get to this point. And he really, when he divorced his first wife, he took a long time between when he decided and when they actually separated because he was doing his own inner work and becoming who he needed to be. And I'm sure that I'm sure that some of my stuff has worn off on him because we've been together for so long.
Yeah, definitely. That would be that just happens naturally.
It just happens. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the number one lesson you've learned from life?
Source is my source.
Tell me more. What does that mean?
So, source, which is God, the universe, the energy of all that is, the energy that has created us and of which we are part and of which everything is made, wants us to have a juicy, vibrant, amazing life. Yeah. And source creates the resources for that. So what this means is my business does not create my income. Source chooses to send me income through my business. My clients are not the source of my income.
Okay.
Source chooses to send me resources through my clients.
Wow.
Source is the source. When I come back to that source is the source, then I can relax. when I relax, then I can get messages about what's the next right step versus going into my head and being like, oh my God, I need to make money this month. How am I going to do it? I need to do this. I need to do that. And getting in that Tasmanian devil spin.
Yeah.
Instead, I go, okay, source is my source. Okay, source. I'm going to open. Tell me what the next right step is.
Wow.
Sometimes the answer I get is go to the beach.
Okay.
Because we live 15 minutes from the beach here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes the answer is, hey, you need to put together a big event, right? And so I follow those ways, trusting that I don't have to figure this out. Because source is my source. What I have to do is tap into source and stay as connected to source as I can. And in that, I can create what I'm meant to have in this world.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. And it's so helpful because, I'll get into the money spin, right? Like I'm like all these money rules that I was given as a child. Like I'm not allowed to make more money than my brothers. Don't tell my parents, but I do. I'm not, I'm not allowed to outshine the golden child.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll get caught into a money thing where I'm like, there's not going to be enough. The other day I was writing a check for the contractor. Honest to God, the thought went through my head, well, they're draining my bank account, right? Like they're taking my money. And I thought, that's a weird thought. It doesn't matter. Source is my source. Source is providing this.
Wow.
Source provided the money for this. And so that is a different energetic than they're draining my bank account versus source is making this happen. And when you open in that way, when you allow source, then it allows more good things to come, including money and clients and love and joy and experiences. And all of that comes from being open.
Yeah.
Versus shutting down and trying to figure it out in your head.
Yeah.